would want me to. In the first month, I remember searching for the blacks and the browns and the whites and the creams, but he was a dandy man and he always wanted us to dress well, to look well, to have a house full of energy. And my house still has a very high energy. I still have a lot of guests home and there's always buzz around it. I always do fancy cooking, I have friends over. So it is the leader way to live, and I think he shows me the path, and I just normalize grief as if it is a friend for life. There is no timeline to my grief. There is never a day when I will say that this is over. This is something that it's like losing a hand. You know, you just learn to live without that hand, but you will always miss that hand. But it's our duty to make the other hand more powerful.
Thank you.
So, what I thought was, we've introduced the Lieutenant Colonel Ajit Bhandarkar Memorial Award in schools across India, wherein we identify a kid in that school who has all the qualities of a brave heart. So when I go to the school and when I explain to the principal, I say we were looking at all these qualities of a brave heart, and that's how we want to give this award. And I mean, it is just one simple way of keeping his legacy and his life alive and passing it on to the next generation maybe. So that's how I spent my time.
Wow, how beautiful is that, and congratulations on the award. I think it's really nice to inspire the young children that are sitting here, in different schools and colleges that you are doing. So, okay, Gitika, you spoke of grief right now, and in your book you have also mentioned on the 5 stages of grief, with acceptance being most powerful in a way, because to accept what you have gone through or going through, because you will go through it, you're going to miss him for the rest of your life. So tell us a little bit about what are these 5 stages of grief, and why do you put acceptance as right on top?
Acceptance is the highest level of grief. Anybody who is grieving, or any time, acceptance is something which is like top of the food chain, which will come after anger, denial, and bargaining and all of that, and last you get acceptance. But the moment you accept, like again back to Japanese philosophy, sorry I've said this 3 times now, there's a group of, I think, Kimabushi monks who believe in it. They keep saying something called utekamo. So that means I humbly accept. So, gir gaya, fracture ho gaya, utekamo. Like, okay, I humbly accept. Ab ho to gaya hai na, it is what it is. So the moment that realization comes that this has happened, there's no denying this, then you can go backwards. And by the way, the 5 stages are cyclical. They come and go. There is a time when, it's like, grief is like sitting at the edge of the ocean. That, the waves will come like a tide sometimes, and sometimes they be placid. But yes, acceptance in the first 5-10 hours gives you the way forward. Ki ab mujhe kya karna hai, and what all do I have
You
to
move
do?
on,
Yes,
in the
yes.
sense like, okay, it's happened, but I
Yes.
need to still go
Yes.
on. So yeah. Shakuntala ji, was there a part while writing the book that you just kind of got overwhelmed? You just couldn't do it anymore. You just couldn't relive it, or you just didn't want to? Or was it easy for you to pen that down?
Yeah, it was tough because I got to meet so many of them who told me his other, qualities which I was not aware of, and so that way I got to know him better, and they spent most
What
of
was
their
one
time.
thing that you didn't know of which you got to know?
I mean, not generally I know him very well, but the anecdotes which his course-mates and
His Paltan
his
would
Paltan
always have
troops,
some story.
say.
Yeah.
So he was quietly the person I loved. So nothing much to say.
Okay, that's nice. Gitika, was there anything that you found out, from his Paltan, from his friends, something that you may not have known about, sir?
Not really. I think we were best friends, so conversation was the, hallmark of our relationship. So there weren't many, all through, because we spoke so much and we had a long courtship. Even his bachpan anecdotes I knew a whole lot. And since I was very good friends with all his good friends, in fact, they used to say, Gitika even talks like Lucky. She's always looking for validation. Kuch bolti hai and she looks towards him. So, I've grown up to him. So I really don't think there was any anecdote that, what he kept away from me were the operations and the stuff what happened in Frisell and that, or whatever, those incidents one didn't know, and they would quietly refer to it when they were talking in the Paltan. But I do believe that he had tremendous amounts of operations to his credits and maximum number of kills in a particular, a tenure of the unit, which is what I don't know.
Yeah, that's great. So if I were to ask both of you, to give a message to our young girls, since most of our audience is young girls today, on love, life and relationships. Because, relationships are so skewed in the world today. And love, like when I have two teenage girls and, they turn around and say that, love doesn't exist. And I said, it's because you haven't found the right person yet. Love does exist, and it is there multifold. So if you were to tell them to trust in relationships and life and love, what would both your messages be for them?
I would just say that love is a very wholesome feeling, and it just the more you give, the more you get. To be very
So be more giving in your relationships. Okay, thank you.
Love is something, if you love truly, and that's a Sadhguru quote, that only those who have loved immensely and truly, honestly, truly, whichever is the adjectives he's used, are able to accept the loss of a loved one gracefully. So love gives strength, love only gives the grace, love gives the way forward, and it is forever. There is no loss of love. There is only loss of life. You will never lose love. And love gives you the way forward, and it is like the guiding light. I do believe in love, in spite of anything that anyone may say. Today is the age of marital discord, and 3 महीने शादी नहीं होती और लोग divorce की बात करते हैं. But when you find it, you know it. It's like the season. मौसम जब बदलता है, तब एकदम से बदल जाता है. And suddenly, you realize that you're in love.
You make it sound so dreamy and so full of life. It's like you want to fall in love all over again. So can we please have a big round of applause? But before we conclude, I do want to say for both of you, Shakuntala ji and Gitika, as army wives, you carry the weight of so much sacrifice with grace. You move often, you shift homes, you lose friends, family, and you do it all with a smile. And you do it all for me, for the audience, for the 1.4 billion people that are there in this country. And no matter how many times people say thank you, it will never be enough, because I think that there is your men, of course, as well as all the men in the armed forces. It's because of them that we sleep well at night. It's because of them that our children are safe. So I'd love for everybody to please give a big, big round of applause to both Gitika and Shakuntala ji for being here with us today. Do we have any questions? Yes.